Chapter 19, A Future Cold Case. Move along. Nothing to see here, Officer Juan Carlos says. He really likes saying that to onlookers, especially when there is something to see. In this case, a 6'6", 300-pound man is lying face down in a pool of his own blood. One man in particular is getting on Juan's last nerve. "Tell me what happened," the man demands. "I have a family here, and I need to know if there's a serial killer." "Did you see anything? Did you hear anything? If not, I have no use for you." A drunk homeless man wakes up. "I seen it. I seen the whole thing." Juan thought he could get inebriated just by inhaling the man's breath. He gives the homeless man the once-over. "I'm sure you did. I'm sure you see lots of things." "No. These two boys were fighting. Then this pretty lady comes with a piece and offs that motherfucker." "I'll be sure to add that to the report." "Man," the homeless man yells, "I speak the truth." The detectives Oscar Collins and Diana Nemo arrive. Oscar makes a big show of stepping over the police line "Do Not Cross" tape while Diana ducks under it. They hurry over to where the EMTs are examining the body. Oscar yawns. "Did you move anything?" The older of the EMTs answers, "Not yet. Checked for a pulse. Nada. Waiting for you to take your sweet time in getting here before we called the meat wagon." Oscar laughs. "Better call a big one, 'cause that's one hell of a passenger." Diana busies herself inspecting the alley. She finds something. "A bullet exited the body and hit here." Oscar and the EMT exchange an eye roll. Oscar walks over and picks up one bullet and then another. "You see, Diana? It took 2 bullets to bring this monster down. And here they are. Police work ain't that hard." Diana walks back to the body and examines it. "You're wrong. This man was shot 3 times, but it appears 2 went in the same hole. So in all likelihood, there's still a bullet inside him." "No way a .40 cal is still in there. 2 were fired. 2 brought him down, and the bullets are useless. They hit the wall hard and are scuffed beyond all recognition." "It's possible," the EMT said, "that one hit a rib and lodged inside. Remember, this is one big boy we're talking about." Diana looks momentarily justified. Oscar tells the EMT to send the carcass to autopsy. He glares at Diana. "This isn't for you." Finally, the EMTs roll the dead man over. There, on the slab, is Pluto. Diana sees him and gasps. This wasn't just a corpse. This was her uncle. Her estranged, evil uncle. Yet, a god of the underworld. What was he doing on Earth? And more importantly, what was he doing dead? Oscar is supercilious. "Someone you know from your homeless days?" he asks. Diana pauses. She can't answer straight away. "No. Never seen him around here." Oscar relishes in this. "I guess that our mighty Joe Doe Young is just a regular John Doe. I'm sure we can find something out next week at the earliest. It's not like this guy is going anywhere." "This could be important," Diana insists, standing up for herself. "Don't make me call the captain." Diana had a special relationship with the captain. Her case has always got top priority. Maybe because she saved the chief's stepson. Maybe because he had a thing for her. But in the end, it didn't matter. What Diana wants, Diana gets. "Fine," Oscar says. "Send the meat wagon, priority 1. I'm sure Digby won't mind." The EMT comments, "Like you said, I'll make sure they send a big one." The homeless man is still shouting, "I've seen the entire thing. Why won't nobody listen to me?" Juan attempts to quiet him down, but it's useless. Diana hears him and quickly makes a beeline towards him. "What did you see?" Finally, someone is taking him seriously. "That big motherfucker comes walking in here like he owns the place. I asked him for some change, and he pushed me down. Ain't no one gonna treat me that way. So I hung around a bit. You know, from, like, a distance." "And then what?" "He and this smaller guy started jawing. Then they start with the fists. Smaller guy does his best and all, but he ain't no match. He about to die. Then his honey shows up, gun a-flaring. She offs that big guy and takes the smaller one with her." Oscar joins Diana during this diatribe. He admits it seems feasible. Diana takes umbrage. "It sounds exactly like what happened. I hope you took notes." Oscar has no interest in being treated this way by the junior detective. "You write down anything you like when we get back to the station." Diana ducks back under the tape. Amid the pool of blood, she notices something small and rectangular. A business card from Jackson Tate. She puts it in her pocket, deciding to keep this little clue to herself. After Diana files her report, Oscar and herself drive to the morgue. Once there, Oscar nods to the receptionist, and she buzzes them past the door. George Digby is the finest coroner in the city. He takes his work very seriously. Some of the others left the job. They now serve as expert witnesses during trials. Apparently, there is a lot of money in the field. Digby is dressed in green scrubs. A mask obscures his face, and a white cap covers his dark hair. He motions Oscar and Diana over. I've seen some interesting cases, but this one takes the cake. You find any ID on this guy? No, Oscar answers. No wallet, no ID. We're hoping you can solve this little riddle. Gonna be hard. This one's got no fingerprints. Can't trace to the DMV or the arrest databases without them. Maybe he filed them off, Oscar suggests. Nope. There'd be abrasions if he had. I've taken an imprint of his teeth. Maybe dental records will give us a match. So basically, you have no idea. Afraid not. And get this, he has no identifiable blood type. Oscar scratches his head. Is that even possible? Not really. There are some pretty rare types other than the ones you know. Doesn't match any of them either. Oscar leans in and examines Pluto's face. There is a sizable scar on the forehead. This your work? He asked Digby. Yeah, that's me. Circular saw wouldn't go through that thick skull. I got another one I'll try. Handsome enough, fellow. Wonder what he did before he was dead. Digby nods. This guy doesn't have a single blemish on his body either. It's like he's the perfect specimen. Here, I got something for you. Using forceps, Digby retrieves the bullet from a dish. Thought this might come in handy. Thanks. Oscar places the bullet in an evidence bag and sticks it in a plastic bag. We'll see what ballistics finds out. Digby removes the sheet from Pluto's body. Pluto is really carved up. Diana gags at the sight of her fellow god. His blood is everywhere. Oscar laughs. You want to sit this one out? Diana nods and exits the room, her hands covering her mouth as though she might vomit. She usually has a stronger stomach, Oscar explains. She's a nice-looking girl. You want to put in a word for me? The only ladies I usually see are dead ones. I think you might be barking up the wrong tree. She's turned down the entire force. Personally, I think she's a vegetarian. Pity that. Diana doesn't really need to heave, but it was certainly a graceful exit. She reaches into her pocket and retrieves Jackson Tate's bloody business card. She's going to have a meeting with that man, so she hails a cab. Once in the office, she flashes her badge to the receptionist. I must speak to Jackson Tate, she says. I'm afraid he's out of the office at the moment, Julie the receptionist responds. When will he be back? I must say, I do not know. He must have left during my lunch. Sometimes he does that and doesn't return. He'll probably be here tomorrow, but I can't be sure. He was meeting with a new client today, so anything is possible. Where does he usually take his clients? La Triste is his favorite. French food, very good. But he usually has me call ahead, so I doubt he went there. Diana sighs. I need his cell number. Julie scrolls down his number. I can dial it if you like. Please. Julie enters the digits. It goes straight to voicemail. No answer. Tell me about this new client. Julie exhales. He was gorgeous. I would have cozied up to him, except he had this vixen with him. She was an absolute knockout. There was no way I could compete with her. Do you keep records as to who meets with him? An appointment book, perhaps? Of course. But he came in without one. I let Jackson know he was here, and I was told to usher him back immediately. Jackson never does that. Diana feels she's onto something. You don't happen to remember this client's name, do you? It's not one I'd ever forget. Apollo. Very unusual, don't you think? Diana's eyes widen. Yes, that's a very odd name. It's good that Julie has no idea how unusual. Where else would Jackson have taken him? He has a place in Calistoga that he visits frequently. He was very excited about Apollo. Perhaps he took him there. I'm going to need a map.